Today we are headed to Herman Creek, where we can see some great views of the Columbia Gorge on top of Indian Point. This hike is easily passed up, but we can find this trail just up the road from this sign east of the town called the Cascade Locks. I enjoy this area because it's a highway of different trails, which can be hiked year-round due to the lower elevation. One of the great things about this hike is that it's a wonderful place for backpacking or camping. This campground is found off one of the easier trails, just 1 mile from the trailhead, overlooking Herman Creek. It is now time to start the hike, as we head up several switchbacks traveling 0.6 miles to a junction. Hiking on these trails will be mostly spent under a thick forest that has some funky looking trees. This is also a great place to hike in the winter and spring months, as it gets us away from the crowds that clog up other trails such as Eagle Creek and Triple Falls. They say the Herman Creek Trail is great to do in the spring because it's a good workout for the other trails that you'll be doing in the summer. You don't get a lot of snow here, so it's a great place to come on out. About 3/4 of a mile from the trailhead, you're going to approach a junction on the trail. This is where a lot of people have to make that tough decision on what they're going to do for the day. There's several different options here. The first is you can hike down the Pacific Crest Trail and you hike down through a beautiful bridge that crosses Herman Creek. They say you can sometimes see steelhead and salmon here if you come to the right months. The trail that we're going to do today is up to Nick Eaton Trail, which goes up to Indian Point. This is a very difficult trail. It goes about 8 miles. It is a trail a lot of people use for spring training. It could tell you how good of a shape that you're actually in. So let's go on up and see what we can do today. On your way up to the Herman Camp intersection, you'll approach an opening allowing you to take in some amazing view of the cliffs. Enjoy these views because after this, you'll be closeted in by trees for quite some time. You will now approach the camp intersection where the loop trail begins. You can go either way here to get to Indian Point. I recommend going right, which will take you to another sign, keeping you on the loop via the Nick Eaton Way. This is where the workout comes in, as we start to climb 1,900 feet within 2 miles. You may notice that on the way up to Indian Point, that this trail is a little bit more difficult than Dog Mountain. You know why? Because it is.
Quite a bear of a hike. We are breathing hard. We are hoping it will be well worth it in the end.
This is the part of the trail which feels like it has never-ending switchbacks as you hike through this lush forest. You may even feel a little closed in. However, after what you feel like is forever, you'll approach your first meadow, which may have some lovely flowers in the spring. Here's where you approach one of our favorite spots on this hike, a lovely log that is set out as a great picnic spot, which allows you to enjoy some amazing views of the Columbia Gorge. You can see Bonneville Dam, Beacon Rock, and the Bridge of the Gods if you look just a little closer. The valley that you're looking into hosts the Herman Creek drainage, as well as the Woolly Horn Ridge. If you're lucky enough, you may even spot the peak of Mount Hood, towering at roughly 11,249 feet. Just on the other side of this picnic spot, as you head back out on the trail, you'll notice the second peak on this hike, Mount St. Helens, which has no top due to its last eruption on May 18, 1980. As you continue on with the hike, you will huddle back into the trees again, and you will approach another fork. This is where you're presented with two opportunities. You can head right, going up a short switchback, taking you up to a peak with more great views. Or you can head left, which will keep you on a loop, which will eventually take you to Indian Point. In the winter months, you may approach some snow at the higher elevation, but it shouldn't be too bad. You will now hike this ridge for 0.8 miles to Gordon Creek Trail, which is where Indian Point sits. At this point, you can go either right 6 miles to Wadham Lake and several great campgrounds, or head left to go back home. We're going to first take a look at some views of the East Gorge while we stand here at Indian Point. You can also see the third peak here, Mount Adams, which is a great place to summit in August. Well, it is now time for us to say our goodbyes as we head down the Nick Eaton Trail back to the truck. I hope you enjoyed this quick trail review and it inspires you to get out here and take a look for yourself.
We've had a great day today. It was quite a hike. We're a little bit tired, but it was well worth it. One of my favorite parts was where we had lunch with the amazing views of the gorge, the tip of Mount Hood off in the distance. It was really spectacular. So we encourage you to come out to do some exploring and to create your own second stories. Bye.